Conversations for Couples, episode 2.
2.
You don't like when we number the episodes, right?
I just feel like I'm going to get mixed up and screw it up. So
Anyway, we are...
I'm Julie.
Oh, I did it backwards. Okay, you're Julie. I'm David, and
we are the Bullitts.
One of these days we'll get that right. So last time we talked about perception as reality.
Yes.
People can come to different topics, take away, or not different topics, but different circumstances, take away different feelings from the exact same thing happening.
Yes.
And today we're gonna move a little bit and talk about how we can bridge that gap.
Right. What do you do about that? You have two people coming from two different places in life. You know, people have baggage, people have childhood, you know, that they were brought up certain ways, and they come together. And that is what makes relationships pretty awesome, but it also makes relationships pretty complicated.
So the first question somebody's going to want to ask is, why am I wearing your hat?
Oh, we forgot to, yes, that's true.
Yeah. Why
yes,
am I wearing your hat looking silly, although you look pretty smoking hot in mine.
It's a little bit big on me.
That's okay, still.
Yeah,
still
so
looks
you
good.
tell about that.
So it's, because you're talking about putting yourself in someone else's shoes. That's how we're sort of going to kick this off. And so since we didn't want to put ourselves in each other's shoes, because I got these stumpy, ugly feet, and I didn't want to have to do that, we put each other in
each other's hats.
Put ourselves
so
in
anyway,
each other's hats.
which
so
is part of
what... Can I have my hat back?
Yeah.
So now let's get back to our own hats.
Yeah, now we're in our own hats.
Shoes.
But
actually, you had the hat on backwards, which was even funnier.
That's funny.
Okay, so let's talk about strategies that you employ, and I'll interrupt incessantly and ask questions.
Sure.
Right? So when you've got people in your office who are talking about an event that happened, and one person felt one way as a result of that, another person saw it differently and felt a different way. You know, what do you do to try to get them to bridge that gap, to work together and figure things out?
Sure. Well, the very first thing is realizing that the way that you're seeing and experiencing something may be different. Okay,
right.
So that's the absolute basis for when people come into my office and they want to do couples work. That's a lot of the work, is realizing that, is doing the perspective taking of the other person. Mm-hmm. So switching hats and saying, oh, wow, that's how you saw it. That's how you feel about it. Because if you can understand that piece of someone else's, you know, thinking and feeling, then that helps just right there and then.
All right, so you're when they're talking, you're talking about sort of repeating in some way what the other person said.
Right, so there's a technique in therapy where, you know, we would say...
I had to get that out of you, by the way, because you completely forgot that. You had skipped over that.
That's okay. I would have remembered it eventually.
Go ahead.
So in therapy, couples come, and if they're talking about something that happened, then it's very important that we have the other person do something that's basically repeating. So what did you hear David say? Or what did you hear Julie say? And then as they're, you know, hopefully getting it right, and if they're not, that's the therapist's job, is to help them see and kind of repeat back and then understand. And as I said, once that happens, then some real work can be done on how to figure out how to compromise.
So let's do an example, okay? Give a, for example, a real discussion.
Yes.
All right. So we talked about our grandson with the fuzzy pickle from last time, right? So here's two parents. Their 5 or 4 or 6-year-old child says something to an adult that one parent thinks is funny.
Yes.
And the other parent is appalled because he or she thinks it's disrespectful.
Correct.
So here we are in your office. What do you tell me? I'm the parent who thought it was funny and can't understand why my partner, what she was so upset about. What's the big thing?
Right.
It's hysterical.
Right. So what I would say is you would, you know, say why, you know, like if I'm the partner that is upset about the fuzzy pickle, I would want you to understand, you know, like I was raised in a household where you don't talk to adults that way, where you can't, you know, aren't disrespectful, and manners and politeness is very important, and it goes to the core of the family values, and therefore I felt that him calling the golf guy a fuzzy pickle was really disrespectful.
And so then my job is to say, okay, so what I'm hearing from you is, God.
Yes.
Sounds painful.
Yes.
Yeah.
But let me just say to you, if you can then understand that I wasn't just being a mean parent
Right.
and saying like the kid did wrong,
Right.
and you understood where that impacted me and where that came from, that you would then be more open to, understanding.
So by actually saying what the other person
Yeah.
feels, you think that
Hearing it. Yeah, hearing it.
him or herself
Yes.
say what you feel, me saying what you felt,
Yes.
is somehow a way in which I will understand better.
You will understand, and it also shows respect. If
Okay.
you understand and you're like, so you are feeling like it's disrespectful and it's not the way you were raised and it's important to you that our kids are respectful,
Okay.
then I feel heard. And that's part of relationship, is being heard.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? So if you have a different perspective, that's fine, but you want somebody to honor your reality and your feelings around it.
All right. So let's go with another strategy. Give me
Right.
another one.
So sort of a good foundation for relationships is to assume good intentions. And by that, what I mean is you can look at a situation like, maybe I just mopped the floor of the house, or I just cleaned the house. And then you took the dogs for a walk and they came in and they were muddy, or they are shedding all over the place, and I had just cleaned the house. I might think, wow, what a jerk. Like I just cleaned the house and you let the dogs in here and they just got muddy paws all over the place, right?
Right. And you'd be aggravated, irritated, and
Right. So
probably yelling.
if I am not thinking, if I'm not assuming good intentions, I'm assuming negative intentions, like you did that on purpose and,
Okay.
that wasn't very nice, then that makes things more difficult. If I assume that you had no idea that
done
the
the floor.
dogs were dirty, had, dog hair all over the place and muddy paws, then I'm coming from a very different place. And I could say to you in a very different way, like, hey, you know what? I just cleaned the floor. Could you wipe up the floor? The dogs came in, they were really dirty. Versus like, why did you let the dogs in here with muddy paws? Okay, so the way I assume things.
Okay, so you're the person who cleaned the house.
Yes.
And let's talk. And you're assuming good intentions. So you're
Yes.
assuming that I didn't know,
Correct.
didn't realize, it was not a purposeful thing.
Correct.
Right, and then let's toggle back to the repeating the number one thing you talked about, which is repeating what the other person said,
Yes.
or what they feel. So
Yes.
you would say, so you're so stupid, you came in. You see the floor is wet, and you still let the dumb dogs walk all over the place. Is that how you're? You don't say that, right?
No, you don't say that. No, you don't say that. But if you were if I said, hey, if I'm assuming good intentions, and I said, hey, could you
Okay.
clean up the floor, because I had just cleaned the house and now it's dirty, then you would say, oh, wow, I didn't know that the floor was wet, and I didn't know that the dogs were muddy, and you must be feeling like a little resentful.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But what are you saying?
I'm saying, why'd you let the dog? No, I'm saying, I'm assuming that you didn't know this.
Okay.
And you were in a rush. You came in. I know
Yeah.
you have to get dressed for work. You were in a rush, and you just
Okay.
let the dogs in, and that was what had happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does.
And the third technique that I like, or just core concept that you can use, is that people that we got from Dr. Joe Strand.
Joseph Strand.
Dr. Joe Show.
Joe.
Yes, Dr. Joe Show. He's a psychiatrist in Boston. He was also on Zoom, which was a show that I watched when I was a kid, and I loved meeting him. Anyway, he has a concept that people are doing the best that they can in that moment. And I think if you can remember that in a relationship, then it will really be helpful when thinking about what we're talking about, which is two different people coming together as one.
Okay, but people aren't really doing the best that they can in every moment. I mean, so I kind of get it from a psychiatrist wants to lay that layer on top of it. But isn't the fact of the matter is that sometimes people aren't doing the best they can? Like, okay, so I'm laying on the couch, right? The house is dirty. There's crap all over the place. I'm doing nothing. And we have people coming over in an hour. I'm not doing the best that I can.
In the moment you are. Maybe,
What do you mean by
maybe you overexerted yourself when you're out with your little push lawnmower and you're like having low blood sugar and you had to take a rest right then. So what I'm saying to you is, and what Dr. Schran says, is that in the moment, people are doing the best that they can. It doesn't mean that a couple minutes later, when your headache or you got some Gatorade in you, that you can get up and start to run the vacuum cleaner.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I understand.
In the moment,
I do.
there's always a reason why people aren't doing what, the best that they can. But in that moment, they are doing the best that they can.
All right. I mean, I understand that's a psychiatrist's perspective, and I do. I get it. I just think that in reality, people aren't always doing the best that they can. I think the real strategy, and I don't mean to differ with Dr. Joe and you, who are a lot smarter than me in mental health stuff, is that you as the observer have to assume that they're doing the best that they can, and that's what makes
in the moment, right? And you can expect more from somebody, but in the moment, they're doing the best that they can.
Okay, they're doing the best they can. Okay, so that's enough for today.
Yeah, and I think those are some really helpful techniques. So repeating what your partner's saying so that you can have their perspective and they can feel respected and heard.
Okay.
2 is to assume good intentions, that people are doing things not against you or to make you mad. Okay. And 3, that people are doing the best that they can in that moment.
I'm doing the best that I can not to disagree with you. So we will see you next time. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Bullits, on Facebook, on Instagram at The Bullits, on Twitter at The Bullits. There's a consistent
at The
message
Bullits.
there. And we have our website, www.thebulits.com. We will see you next time.
Thanks for joining.